Welcome to the Better Business Beat, your go-to source for insight, stories, and conversations that matter to our community. I'm your host, Mechele Mills, and each week we explore topics which impact the way we live, work, and do business here in East Texas. From smart consumer tips and local success stories to practical advice for navigating today's challenges, we are here to keep you informed, empowered, and connected. So, whether you're a consumer, a business owner, or someone who just loves supporting local organizations, this show is your front row seat to the people, trends, and ideas shaping our region. Today, we are flipping the script because I'm actually going to be in the hot seat. That's right. Instead of asking questions, I'll be answering the questions as Tristen VanBeem takes over the mic to interview me about all things BBB. Who we are, what we do, why it matters to East Texas, and businesses and consumers alike. So settle in for a behind-the-scenes look at the Better Business Bureau, its mission, its impact, and how we are helping build a marketplace of trust right here in East Texas. Hi, Tristen.
Hey, Michelle, how are you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. It's awesome to be on the Better Business Beat. You know, I've always kind of punched in the shows and everything like that, but never actually been in an episode, so it's great to be here.
Hey, you look great on camera too, by the way.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I'm sure the people who watch my morning shows probably wouldn't agree, but
I don't think so.
So, I've always kind of listened to you talk to guests about Better Business Beat and everything like that. And we always cover specific topics within, East Texas business and stuff like that. But I just kind of want to get behind the scenes of what the Better Business Bureau actually is and what you guys do. And it interests me a lot. I was almost a business major in college, believe it or not, until before I went to journalism. So I've always had kind of a bit of interest in business. So I just want to go ahead and, pick your brain and see what it's all about being the CEO of the Better Business Bureau.
Sure. Pick away. What do you want to know?
Well, the first question I would like to ask is, I see that you guys do this Battle of the Businesses thing. What is that all about?
So historically, BBB has been educational. We do speeches, and we still all do those things. We help businesses be better, but there was a need. We started this after the pandemic, and people just wanted to do something fun. And so we decided to do that. We wanted to incorporate that. And so we started with one battle. Now we have four. But so we started with the Battle of the Businesses cornhole tournament. And it's just a way for businesses to get together, get a little trash talk in. It's a relaxed environment. They still get to network with each other and get to know each other. And they get to promote their businesses. And so we have a cornhole tournament. That was our first one. We do that in the fall. We have a pickleball tournament. That's coming up. It's our first one. And it comes up. It's actually on November 7th, Friday, November 7th. And I think we have a couple spots left. So if you want to register, there may still be some time to get your name, your teams in. We also do, in the spring, we do a trivia contest. So Battle of the Businesses, virtual trivia. So you could be anywhere in our service area and compete against one another, and you don't even have to leave your office. Spring is often like a busy time of the year for everybody where they're just trying to get their year going. And so this is a way for them to, have some teamwork. The whole team can play against other companies. And you don't even have to leave your office if you don't want to. So we do that. And then we also do an indoor golf tournament in the summer. So you can still play golf, all you golf lovers. You can still play golf, but you don't have to be out in this Texas heat. Super fun. That event was also sold out this year. So it's just a fun thing for us to do in addition to all of the other programs that we do.
Well, I'd love to hear that, especially some, friendly competition between coworkers and everything like that. I feel like it kind of breeds this a great work environment when a lot of people just can be comfortable with each other and
Yes.
just really get to know their coworkers instead of just kind of the person they are at work and everything like that. Do you kind of agree with me that really helps out?
I agree with that, and I think there's a great need for that, but also businesses are burdened with all of the things that they have going on. It's tough running a business, and so this is a way for you to do some teamwork, and we'll just take care of it for you, It's great for your team. It's great. It's like a win-win-win for everybody. You can network with other businesses. You can get your team to have a good time, and it also helps build your company culture. So that it's just a great thing to do with your team, with your employees. And one thing that we do in our office is every quarter we get out of the office and do something not businessy just so we can
That's
bond.
awesome.
And so we do this for businesses. It's a once a quarter thing, a way for them to bond with their team mates and just have a good time.
Well, I liked how you mentioned it builds a culture around the office setting and everything. And I was also seeing that the Better Business Bureau has what's called the Awards for Excellence. I feel like that might have something to do with the cultures that you're able to bring into offices and stuff like that. Could you kind of explain what the Awards for Excellence is?
Yeah, we've been doing that for gosh, over a decade now. And so this is a way for the best businesses in East Texas to we get so you can nominations are open now for 2026 actually, and so you can nominate a business by going to bbbawards.org, and you can nominate your business. If it's your business or if it's a business you just love, nominate them. And then starting at the beginning of next year, we'll put it out to the community to vote for their favorite. So we get the community engaged. They vote for their favorite business, and then we announce all of the winners. And we give them custom-made awards, and they're just great. And it's a great way to just celebrate business excellence here in East Texas. And so you can nominate a business, and the voting platform will be open on the same website, and it's bbawards.org. By the way, if you want to find out about the Battle of the Businesses, we also have that domain too, battleofthebusinesses.org. And you can find out about all the battles that we have coming up, because it's not just going to be sports. We've talked about doing things like chili contests, and even just during the Halloween season, best pumpkin, just fun stuff for businesses to do. And some of them don't cost anything at all except pumpkin and paint or whatever you want to do. So yeah, we try to do some fun things, and we really, really just want to celebrate business excellence.
Well, honestly, that sounds like a ton of fun. I'm glad that you guys are getting in that Halloween, October spirit and everything. I just heard pumpkins, I'm not gonna lie to you. And I don't know, it just reminds me of always going to pumpkin patches with my family whenever I was growing up and stuff. So I don't know, it's just always nice to get into a little bit of nostalgia.
Are you
But
getting dressed up for Halloween this year?
I wanted to, but I just have really been falling behind on getting a costume. And this has been filmed like 3 days before Halloween, so I'm not exactly sure. I usually always kind of dress up as like an 80s rock band person or something like
Oh,
that.
cool.
But do you
Yeah.
actually have a costume that you have planned up for this Halloween?
When I was a kid, my parents came, a Filipino family where almost everybody in my family is in the medical field. So my parents always told me, you're going to be a doctor, you're going to be a doctor, you're going to be a doctor. And so for Halloween every year, I was a doctor because they already had their scrubs, and so I
Yeah.
just kind of wore those. And so in my mind was, anyway, when I became old enough to make my own decisions, I was like, I don't know if I want to do that. Because science is scary, and so yeah.
Medical
So
stuff is scary too,
yeah,
surgeries and stuff
yeah,
like that.
it's true. So anyway, but this year, I don't know. I'm probably gonna just use something that I was Queen Elizabeth a few years ago. So I think so by the time this is aired, Halloween will be over. So I think I'm gonna take my Queen Elizabeth wig. It was when she has silver hair. And I'm gonna do something with it and be Einstein or something. Take the lab
That
coat
would
that
be
I
awesome.
used when I was playing a doctor,
Yeah.
and I'll be Einstein, I think.
So when you were dressing up as a doctor for Halloween and stuff, did you kind of know that you more than likely weren't going to go into the medical field, and this was just your way of, pleasing your parents' dreams for you or anything, or how did that go?
No, I really thought I was going to be, and now that I'm like much, much, much older, like think I kind of would have liked to be a doctor, but I really love what I'm doing now too. So, but yeah, I didn't know I was such a obedient kid. So I was
Same
just,
here.
yeah, I was just like, okay, I'm gonna be a doctor. You want me to be a doctor? Okay, I'll be a doctor.
Well, what do they think now? Do they think of you highly now that you're the CEO of the Better Business Bureau, or what do they think of that?
Oh, very proud. They're always very proud,
Yeah.
So yeah, just to veer away from being in the medical field was, there's a lot of Filipino nurses and doctors and physical therapists, a lot in the medical field, and so for me to venture out of that was a little scary for them at the beginning. So I
Bet,
actually
yeah.
got a journalism degree, and then I went and got my MBA from Baylor. So. Yeah. So anyway, but yeah, very proud. I think I would really enjoy anything that I did. You know
Of
what I
course,
mean?
yeah.
I just like learning new things and all of that. So, yeah, I just like to, bloom where you're planted, right? So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like you've had honestly one of the quite the journey, quite the roller coaster ups and downs, and figuring out where you want to go. And I mean, like I said earlier, I thought about majoring in business, but I got
hmm
drawn to journalism, and now here I am hosting here
Yeah.
hosting a podcast with
Cool.
you. So, everything happens for a reason,
Yeah. I mean,
honestly,
you
the
may
way I
go
like
get
to
your
look at it.
MBA and then become the next president of the Better Business Bureau. You never
Who
know,
knows?
just like I did.
I'm the perfect person to get advice from, so I guess it all works out.
Yeah.
And speaking of, just the Better Business Beat again, we kind of got off topic a little bit
It's
there.
okay.
I was thinking about this one question that I wanted to ask for you. It's about the Better Business Bureau scam tracker.
Hmm.
Now, I don't know anything about it as of right now. I'm going to ask you that. But what I think it is it kind of something that, especially for small businesses, allows them to pick up on scams ahead of time because they don't have the exact resources a lot of these bigger businesses do. So that way they can protect themselves? Or how does that work, Michelle?
Yeah, it's really just for, you're right, that's one aspect of it. It's really just for anyone who needs to report a scam, because how many times do we get a text message and we're like, you know, it's so convincing that you fall for it, or an email or a phone call, you fall for it. Well, then what do? Right? Number one, you report it to the FBI, ic3.gov, if it's something that's online, but also report it to BBB Scam Tracker, because then we can track them. We can see, where it is, how many people are reporting that scam. You would report what phone number or what email it came from. So that way, if I get the same text message or email, I can look and see, has this same thing been reported, or is it legitimate? So it's just a good way to track. If you have it, if you think you're being scammed, you want to report a scam, it is something that we're here to help consumers be safe, make good financial decisions. And so whether you're a business or a consumer, it's something you can reference just to make sure that you are being wise with your finances.
Well, it's great to hear that you guys have these resources for businesses and everything like that because, I know I get spam calls all the time. And the thing is, I know they're scams because I recognize the numbers, but for some people, that might not be the case. And it only really takes one or two times for it to happen for sometimes people to fall for it. And it's very unfortunate when people don't exactly know what to look for. But I do want to also ask, so that kind of ties with some of the Better Business Bureau's business resources.
Sure.
So, you have the scam tracker. What else does the Better Business Bureau provide for either large business owners or small business owners?
Sure. I do so we're here to help consumers make good financial decisions. We want them to make good choices with their money. We're also here to help the best businesses thrive. And
Okay.
so, and we want to direct consumers to those best businesses, right? That's why we're here. So anything from whether you're just starting a company to you're about to retire and you are, wanting a succession plan. We cover everything from start to finish. So wherever you are in your business, we are here to help. And so if you're starting a company, you need business plans, you need to decide whether you're an LLC or, what your business structure needs to look like, to I have no idea how to market my business. I'm really good at doing what I do, but I'm not great at getting the word out. I'm not great at creating ads. I'm not great at, we don't have a logo. So we can even, work with you on that, to your culture. We have classes on how to create a good culture, leadership classes. We provide all types of educational resources for businesses from start to finish.
Well, I love to hear that you guys have all those resources. And I like how you brought up how you have resources for not only just business owners, but also the consumers, because sometimes, consumers can't really recognize. I've also myself, I feel like I've bought plenty of overpriced things because I just don't know what if I'm getting a good deal or not. And honestly, do you guys help consumers with that? Just kind of figure out like, hey, this might not be this business might not be going in the direction that you're trying to find. Their prices might be too high. How does that work?
Yeah, so again, we just want to help people make good choices. And so we do that by providing information. We provide information on all businesses in North America. And whether they're a BBB accredited business or not, we're going to provide information so that you can make a wise choice. And so we also help with buying decisions. If you're trying to buy a car, we will have tips on our website on how to go about doing that, especially as the way we do business changes, right? Used to, when you bought a car, you would go to the lot, you would drive it, you would test drive it, you talk to the salesperson, talk to the finance company, all of that. But today, it's quite different. You can still do that, but a lot of people are buying their cars online. They don't even step into the car before they make that purchase. So what are some things that you need to do if you're going to make that purchase that way? And then what is the next iteration of how we purchase vehicles? We will have information about that as well. So we just want to help people make good decisions, regardless of how they're making their purchase, whether it's buying a car, whether it's buying a house, whether it's how to hire a contractor. There are good businesses out there, and there are not so good businesses out there, and so we want to make sure that consumers, businesses are making good choices, making wise decisions, doing their homework, knowing what to look for, what the red flags are for whatever situation they happen to be in.
I like how you brought up the topic of, buying a house and buying a car because I feel like that's something that's very scary for a lot of
Yeah,
people to do. I mean, it scares me, honestly. I've never
yeah,
really bought my own car or anything. I've kind of gotten hand-me-downs, and then, of course, I've always rented, so I've never actually bought a home. So it's great to see that there's at least somebody out there
sure.
who is able to provide that advice
Yeah, it's
and
probably
stuff
the
like that.
biggest decision you're going to make. The
Yeah.
biggest financial decision is probably going to be your home. So you really want to be very, very careful if you're building or you're buying, if you're just buying a home or your car, going to be probably the second biggest investment.
Mhm.
So you really, whether you're buying something small or whether you're making a big purchase, we really want to help you make good decisions along the way. One thing just to remember is some of these decisions can be very emotional,
Yeah.
right? And the more emotional that decision is, the more likely you're going to make a mistake. And so we help by providing some like guidelines so you can, you can pause and think logically before you make that emotional financial decision.
Yeah, I mean, I could see how that could be very emotional just because, especially with a house, regarding a house, because
Yeah,
it's not like a car. You can't just turn it in or you can't just pick it up and move it somewhere else. Like
yeah,
when the house is there, is the house is that gonna be there? And most people in their life, they if they're lucky enough to be able to buy their own house, they might only be lucky enough to buy another one. So they kind of just max out at two. So if you end up not getting the right one, I could see how that could be very frustrating for
yeah,
someone who just kind of took the wrong path. Not took the wrong
yeah.
path, but got the wrong advice from
It'd be a terrible
that
thing
kind
to
of thing.
have buyer's remorse on, right?
Mhm. Oh, yeah, of course. I mean, I buy remorse just from buying stuff at the grocery store, so I
Right.
couldn't imagine,
Oh,
$300,000, $400,000 house just
yeah,
just
exactly.
having some buyer's remorse on that. And so we've kind of gone over an overview of the Better Business Bureau. I just want to ask, do you know kind of the history of it, how it got started,
Yeah.
who kind of founded this whole thing? Can you give me some of that background?
Yeah, sure. So Better Business Bureau, we're 112, 1912, and I'm not good at doing math in my head. But so we've been around since 1912, and we got started in the days of the potions and lotions, the snake oil salesman. You remember all of that? Those,
Mhm.
yeah. So we got started in those days, and we started by having advertising vigilance committees. So basically, just truth in advertising. We still do that today. We still review misleading advertising. We still help businesses to have good advertising, which words to use so that you're not misleading the public. We still help people with that, and so that is kind of how we started over 100 years ago. And so we are the original. You know, we're the original organization that consumers go to say, do I want to choose this business or this business, or how do I go about making this kind of purchase? And we've been around, so we've morphed into different things. We still do advertising today, but we also are a sounding board for when consumers have a good experience with a
Mhm.
business or when they have a negative experience with a
Mm.
business. And if somebody has a negative experience with a business, we try to help that business um, to uh, to implement good best practices and to we do just try to help them be better. That is in our name. So we want to partner with businesses and help them do things the right way. Sometimes businesses make mistakes along the way because it could be from growing pains.
Mhm.
Maybe because it's not always because somebody is being dishonest. But if it's growing pains, if it's so, then we would try to help that business with some best practices to help them be able to manage those types of things. So yeah, so that's kind of how we started, and it started over 100 years ago. Our local office was opened in 1985, And the Chamber of Commerce here actually helped start so we partner very well with the Chamber. They wanted to have a standards-based organization here in East Texas, again, to help people make wise purchasing decisions. And so they helped us start in 1985. Our office used to be over on Old Bullard, and during the pandemic, we actually built a new office over off of New Copeland and Grande, so really easy to get to. We've got a classroom there, so if you have a business that you teach classes or you do presentations, we have that classroom available. It's rented out most of the time, so you really want to reserve that spot. But we do host classes there. We have a great team who does. We handle all the dispute resolution, which, to be honest, in East Texas, we're so grateful. We have very, very few companies who get complaints here in East Texas. Most people come to us to get that information. How do I do this? How do I that? Can you help me? Can you help me with my business? Can you help me as a consumer? Can you do some? I have a group of. I have a group. My HOA wants somebody come talk to us about the latest scams, things like that. So we have a great small but mighty team.
One thing that really stuck with me, what you just said, is you talked about how you kind of teach people how not to mislead other people in with business practices and stuff. And that honestly relates to me a lot as a journalist. We just make sure that we're always on top of not misleading the public or saying information that is false and stuff like that, and really just getting the facts on what is happening around us. And I like how you tied that back into business. I feel like that just kind of applies to a lot of things in the world, a lot of professions. And it's something that people oftentimes, unfortunately, don't really take too serious, and they kind of let things get out of hand. Have you seen any, I don't know if you can actually talk about it. Have you seen like any really bad examples of people just purposely misleading the public into submission by?
We do. Sometimes it's not purposeful.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's just a misunderstanding. For example, if you say satisfaction guaranteed, that means you're willing to give all the money back, no questions asked.
Right.
Like you actually guarantee it. So there's just little things like that. We don't see that a whole lot anymore.
Yeah.
But we do try to keep the bad players out.
Mm-hmm.
Again, if somebody does have misleading advertising, we do try to coach them out of it. We try to help them we'll even help them, change the verbiage and, to make it so they can still get the same kind of message across, but not put themselves or so that consumers don't get as angry with them because they didn't, stand by what they said, even though, anyway, just like the satisfaction guaranteed, sometimes they don't understand. Businesses don't understand that actually means you are going to give it all back, no questions asked. Things like that. Let's see, refund policies, things like that. Yeah, there's all kinds of. It is complicated to own a business, and so most of the time, it is not somebody who's doing something intentionally. However, we do have bad players that come into the area. That's why scams exist, right? Because there are some people that are in there trying to take advantage of people, especially as we're getting into the holiday season,
Yeah, it's coming.
So, talk about an emotional season, right? This is the time of year where a lot of people are giving to charities, right? Well, what if somebody comes to you with a fake charity? How are you going to know? So
I don't
come
know
to
how
us,
I know, honestly.
right? There's a lot of lookalike charities. They sound like something that and you may think, oh, I think I know that organization. And, we have organizations like that come in through the area during the holidays. Online purchasing, that is probably the biggest thing we get reports on as far as.
Really?
Yeah, people getting scammed. They make a purchase. It was really a non-existent company.
Are they going on like sketchy websites? Because I feel like Amazon is pretty secure, so I don't know.
Well,
where they would be.
even with Amazon, you have to look at the vendor, right? Because
That's true.
because it's a bunch of sellers, oftentimes that are listed on there. So it does have to do with not making an emotional decision. Do your research, check the reviews, things like that. So. But with holiday season, we do get a lot of fake websites, a lot of clickbait. a lot of text messaging. Again, clickbait. Somebody sending you a text message, and it's a really great deal.
SMS spam.
Yeah, yeah. Another text message that a lot of people may be getting lately is it looks like somebody has sent you a text message, but they must have sent it to the wrong person by accident. Have you gotten some of that?
I get
Do you know what they're trying to do?
What are they trying to do? I've got a couple of those. I usually don't respond to any numbers I don't
Good.
really recognize, but what are they trying to do when they're doing that?
Well, they're trying to get you to respond and say, "Oh, I think you've sent it to the wrong person."
Trying to reel you in.
Yeah,
Okay,
trying to
that's how
reel
they
you
do
in
that.
just
Okay.
little by little, and then they start a conversation with you. Next thing you know, they've got some of your personal information. So
They
yeah,
have your whole credit card number. They just they somehow got it.
Well, over time, yeah,
Yeah.
we've heard financial scams, things like that have happened. What they're after, but number one, they're trying to get your trust somehow. So they'll start with little ways, and once they've gained your trust, then they strike. And it doesn't take very many attempts for them to get one victim. And so, yeah, the good person in us wants to go, hey, I think you've got the wrong number. I want to make sure you get this
Help them out
message
a
to
little
the
bit,
right
yeah.
person. Unfortunately, you just need to delete, report junk. That's what you need to do with all of those, unfortunately. So,
And it is unfortunate too because I feel like a lot of people won't learn that until they learn it the hard way. And so, I feel like it's a lot easier for people in like my generation and like maybe my parents and stuff like that. But for a lot of the older generations, they didn't grow up with this kind of technology and this kind of
Yeah.
scam calls and stuff. So I'm sure that it's a lot harder for them to recognize them. I know personally, my grandparents and stuff have almost gotten scammed before just because they're just not used to that kind of thing. So
right. What a strange fact is more people in your generation get scammed than older people.
really,
Yes, because
not have
you
guessed that.
are on the technology that you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The scammers are going wherever you are, right?
Finding
So
those new ways to
correct.
Okay.
But the
okay.
amount of money taken from people who aren't, so from older people, the amount of money is bigger. So maybe less frequently, but larger chunks, but more frequently in smaller batches. You know what I mean?
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah. So isn't that?
I would not have thought that, to be honest with you. Well, unfortunately, it is coming time to end this episode. This honestly flew by really quick, but we do have to keep a certain time constraint here. And I just want to say thank you so much, Michelle, for sitting down and talking with me.
Thank
It was
you.
awesome being invited into the Better Business Beat seat and getting to do one of these episodes. I've had such a blast. And I just want to say thank you for always doing these and providing this great advice for East Texans.
Thank you. Great to be here.